And right now, first here on the WHS 1119, we do want to begin with a traffic alert for you as we are taking a look at a live picture of the westbound lanes on the Sherman Minton Bridge right now. You see the construction underway there. That's what you see there. One of the construction crews doing their work. But we do want to let you know that the Louisville Metro Emergency Services just sent out a message on Twitter saying that the Sherman Minton Bridge westbound is now shut down for a vehicle fire. We do not see the vehicle fire in view in this live picture, but again, Louisville Metro Emergency Services saying through a lens alert traffic advisory that the lanes are shut down on the westbound. Of course, the westbound would mean the lanes going into New Albany from Louisville. They gave no estimated time for reopening. Drivers are asked to avoid the Sherman Minton Bridge for a while.
Up until recently, I don't think that many people have really spoke out against Jamey due to the fear that they had of him.
And exclusive right now on the WHAS 1119, the first reaction from New Chapel EMS employees since the dramatic turn of events in court today. Judge Larry Medlock says he wants to hear from more people like them before making a final decision on Jamey Noel's plea deal. And hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Night Team tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. Well, hours after the judge told Jamey Noel that his fate is now going to be in the hands of those victims, we sat down with two people who feel that way for sure. They're currently working for New Chapel EMS, and in this exclusive interview late tonight, they told WHS 1119's Alex Dederer and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie Noel needs to get more than 15 years. Alex?
Well, Doug, Special Prosecutor Rick Hurdle says 15-year sentence is on the higher end of the spectrum of charges. But will this sentence stick? Judge Medlock is now turning to members of Clark County, specifically victims of Noel, like New Chapel EMS employees, for the answer.
The thing that makes me the maddest is we asked for equipment. Life-saving equipment.
It's New Chapel EMS employees like these who will have a major say in what happens next in this case.
We asked for medications that when you have a haul from New Wash to Clark Memorial Hospital, those medications are life and death medications that we were requesting. And being told the funding's not there, the money's not there. Well, the money was on your belt buckle. You know, that's $800 that could have gone to a life pack.
Now, Judge Larry Medlock wants to hear from them.
EMS workers that have lost their jobs, paramedics that are not out there saving people because the money is diverted pleasures. I want to hear from people that don't have $800 belts. I want to hear from taxpayers that have been aggrieved by the actions that this has been.
Former Southern Indiana Sheriff Jamey Noel pleaded guilty to 27 of 31 felony counts in court Monday. The plea deal would give Noel 15 years. We asked the employees what they thought of the sentence.
I don't think it's enough.
Lieutenant Jordan Boulard has worked at New Chapel EMS since September 2021. Her last day will be August 31st after the department announced a significant downsize.
I'm a mom of 3 children, so I need that full-time income to support my boys. So it affects me on a personal level, but then it also affects me on a professional level as well, because wherever I go, New Chapel EMS is going to be on my resume.
Lieutenant Crystal Blevins has worked at New Chapel for 2 years.
It's hard to think that he's doing it for any other reasons other than being selfish.
Both Blevins and Boulard are urging other victims of Noel to come forward and share their story.
That the judge understands the gravity of what Jamey did and the far-reaching consequences to every citizen that's been affected.
I hope that people don't fear Jamey Noel. I hope that people, want to stand up for the people of Clark County. And
so good to hear their side of this. And again, Alex, they are going to be very important voices in the next few days. So let's go back to what happened in court today as part of that plea deal. He was ordered to pay restitution. That would mean $3 million. Right. Does Jamey Noel have the money that he stole or other assets to be able to pay that back?
Well, Doug, right now the answer is no. Most of his assets, or all of his assets right now, are frozen. But his attorney, Wilder, said that if his assets were liquidated, then he would have the money to pay these restitutions at $3 million.
Now, you want to talk more about Judge Medlock's request to people.
Right, and so Judge Medlock is asking anyone, again, who has been affected to call the prosecutor's office and ask to testify in court. That number is 812-689-6331. It's right here on your screen, Doug.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Good interview tonight. Well, now here's the breakdown of the proposed restitution. Pay back more than $3 million just to the Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association, also known as New Chapel EMS. More than $61,000 ordered to go to the Clark County Sheriff's Office and to the Indiana Department of Revenue. Noel and Misty Noel must pay $173,000. Finally, $35,000 ordered to pay to the Indiana State Police for the costs associated with storing his evidence, like the luxury cars, kitchen appliances, and so much more. Well, it was an investigation that took months and more than 60 search warrants. Noel's guilty plea changes the entire course of this case. WHAS11's Travis Breeze and photojournalist Jessica Farley were in the packed courtroom today where Noel took the stand for the first time.
22 shipping containers in excess of $25,000. And you acknowledge that, in fact, those things did occur, correct?
Yes, sir.
You made a false 2018 tax return. What I've said in a long way is that you engaged in tax evasion.
Yes, sir.
A packed gallery watched as Jamey Noel pleaded guilty to 27 of 31 charges. Judge Larry Medlock, who has slammed his gavel and shown little patience with Noel in this case, had only this to say.
Shameful.
Shameful. 4 charges of ghost employment were waived, and Noel would be ordered to repay over $3 million. It was the only time Jamey Noel has taken the stand, and Special Prosecutor Rick Hurdle asked him a few simple questions.
You know you don't have to plead guilty to anything today?
Yes, sir. More of that.
It's your choice.
Yes, sir.
You're pleading guilty because you committed these crimes?
Yes, sir.
Misty Noel and his daughters were not in the courtroom for his guilty plea. Hurdle afterwards said he was proud of a 15-year sentence.
And then you're saying, Hurdle, what are you doing? He pled guilty to all these. Why can't you just stack, stack, and stack? Well, there's provisions within the state of Indiana that does not allow for things to be consecutive to one another.
New Chapel EMS, the department where the fraud occurred, is now downsizing. S. Coy Travis, their spokesperson, says,
I think it was very vindicating to have that. I think this is a day that a lot of us here in Southern Indiana were looking forward to hearing.
I asked Noel the question he would not answer, but the one everyone has been wondering.
Jamey, do you want to apologize to the people of Southern Indiana?
But those people will get a chance to speak directly to him, likely in the next 30 days. In Jeffersonville with photojournalist Jessica Farley, Travis Breeze, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
Now, he wasn't the only person in court today as the net of arrests widened suddenly last Friday. Clarksville, Indiana police officer John Miller and Brittany Faree, former council member, in front of a judge today as well, Judge Medlock, accused of benefiting from the stolen money.
Do not do anything stupid. Do not try to deceive me. Do not try to defy me.
Judge Medlock talking directly to John Miller there, wearing an orange jumpsuit. Miller is a Clarksville police officer and a Clark County council member. Sitting a few seats down from Miller was Brittany Faree, a former Clark County council member who shares a child with the former sheriff Jamey Noel. They are both charged now with official misconduct for allegedly voting on New Chapel funding without disclosing their conflict of interest.
There seems to be allegations that he made payments to her for various things. There's no indication that she knew where that money was coming from.
It doesn't affect it at all. There's no question, or seemed to be no question, that Jamey Noel committed a lot of wrongdoing. There isn't any evidence my client has.
Faree has already posted her bond of $3,500. Miller did the same. His bond was $3,000. They're ordered not to have any contact with other people connected to this case. Noel, by the way, as you may remember, was the former chair of the Republican Party there in Southern Indiana. With his arrest and now 2 other Republican council members as well, Clark County Democrats tonight sending out a strong statement. The former Jeffersonville mayor and Clark County Democratic Party chair at the current time, Tom Galligan, says, quote, "This isn't the end of the scandal, with charges still pending against Noel's wife and daughter, as well as the recent arrest of and felony charges against elected officials John Miller and Brittany Faree. It is evident that many Noel enablers were involved." Going on to say, now they'd like you to forget it ever happened and convince you the Republican Party has purged all of its bad apples. Don't believe it. Noel's admission of guilt is only the beginning of accountability. From Tom Galligan tonight. Right now here on the night team, we're also following several other late-breaking stories. One had Louisville firefighters rushing right to a downtown Louisville hotel parking garage. Louisville firefighters, they first got a call at about 8:30 about a pile of trash on fire in the alleyway by the parking garage for the Hilton Garden Inn on West Chestnut Street. When they got there, instead they found a car on fire right inside the parking garage. People downtown say they saw the smoke billowing out of the high-rise structure. Firefighters got it under control in 5 minutes. Firefighters searched the area and the hotel and then allowed everybody to go back inside. No one was hurt, but the Louisville Metro Arson Squad is investigating the cause of the fire. 2 people are in the hospital tonight after a shooting that happened in Old Louisville. Happened about 6:30 tonight at the intersection of 4th and St. Catherine Street, not far from downtown Louisville. Metro officers found 2 men with gunshot wounds at this scene. Officers say both were alert when taken to the hospital and are expected to survive. Detectives are now trying to figure out if the 2 people are connected and what led to the shooting. If you can help detectives, the anonymous tip line is 574 LMPD. Guilty of stealing from Kentucky's veterans and the U.S. government. A man well known for his work with veteran services learned his fate from a federal jury hearing the case for the past week in Frankfort. Jeremy Harrell is the founder and CEO of the Veterans Club Incorporated. According to a federal investigation, the jury found he was guilty of stealing unemployment benefits while running the organization. The U.S. Attorney's Office found Harrell improperly received benefits in 2019 and continued through 2023. In total, they believe he accepted more than $108,000 in unemployment benefits. The U.S. Attorney's Office says he intentionally stole the money from the disability fund that's specifically for U.S. war veterans. A jury found him guilty after a 5-day trial. He's going to be sentenced in December, where he could face up to 10 years in prison and face a $250,000 fine.
Employment seal, they have dropped off the requirement for a GPA and the requirement for dual credits as an option. So those are concerns that I have.
News since 6, that's Lori Stinson, the district supervisor of counseling for Greater Clark County, Indiana schools. She and State Representative Wendy Dant Chesser are seeking public input for the future of Indiana's new high school graduation standards. Well, this proposal raises the bar and does make it tougher. The changes set off an alarm for parents and students to the point that a state representative from Southern Indiana said she had to have a public forum about it tonight. WHAS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Levi Hammer talked to a parent and educator about the new possible requirements.
I'll be honest with you, the plus seems like more work.
Chelsea Crump is one of many parents concerned about the proposed changes that raise the bar on graduating high school in Indiana. The new proposed diploma requires 42 credits compared to the current Core 40 that requires 40 credits.
Although in retrospect it sounds great, it sounds awesome, I don't know if it's attainable necessarily with the resources that we have at our schools.
The future diploma credit requirements will start with the class of 2029. It requires 7 credits for both math and STEM instead of the current 6. Crump is most concerned about what the 2 STEM focused credits mean.
What are those STEM focused credits that they will need? I think that's going to give us more information to work with, just because there are universities and colleges that will require certain things.
The future diploma also has an honors seal and honors plus seal with 3 categories in enrollment, employment, and military enlistment. Crump thinks the course load is too complicated.
I'm not sure how they're going to make these new rules fit or these new requirements fit. I think we'll be a little ahead of the game with that, but that's not fair for some of those smaller schools.
She's not the only one who feels the requirements need to be adjusted.
I'm concerned about the balance between flexibility and rigor.
Lori Stinson, district supervisor of counseling for Greater Clark County Schools, is concerned about students managing credits for work-based learning.
They are looking at requiring AP courses to be passed, and we don't get those results until July. So there are some technical problems.
Stinson feels more work needs to be done before the diploma is made official. State Representative Wendy Dant Chesser called the meeting, and she's taken the comments to the Indiana Department of Education.
How we balance the greater good for all students and educators is going to be a tough decision.
Crump is grateful for the community input.
If we can get that information to Indianapolis, to the people that are helping create this, I just think that'll be very empowering.
Hoping this feedback will make learning better. In Clark County, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
By the way, if you live in Southern Indiana, there is still time for your input. The final rule for the future Indiana diploma must be adopted by December 31st.